Evercoat is proud to announce the newest addition to the Rage family of premium fillers, Rage Ultra. Rage Ultra is the world's best sanding body filler. Rage Ultra contains eco-resin, a patent-pending renewable technology that makes Rage Ultra sand easier than any other premium filler from Evercoat. This new non-sag formula offers excellent filling properties and eliminates the need for a finishing putty. Rage Ultra also contains ZNX7, which allows it to be intermixed with other top-performing metalworks products from Evercoat and can be used on steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, SMC, fiberglass, E-coat, and sanded OEM paint. The following process will explain how to repair a dent with Rage Ultra. Start with soap and water to remove waterborne contaminants that solvent cleaners will not remove, such as dirt, mud, tree sap, and road salt. Now use a solvent cleaner to remove grease, wax, and silicone. The presence of these contaminants can result in adhesion failure and feather edge lifting. When straightening metal, sometimes it is necessary to weld studs in order to pull out the damage. To minimize the amount of damage to the factory corrosion protection, grind an area just large enough to make electrical contact and straighten as necessary. With the paint intact, it is easier to visually measure the accuracy of the repair process. Once the metal is straightened, use a dual-action sander to remove only the base coat and clear coat from the repair area with 80 grit, while keeping as much of the factory primer and E-coat intact as possible. Proper paint removal technique will minimize excessive grinding and help preserve the factory corrosion protection. It is also important to keep the repair as small as possible. This will save time and materials while minimizing the paint blend area. The repair size can also be controlled by matching the proper sized tool to the repair. Remove only the clear coat and base coat while keeping the factory primer and E-coat intact. The recommendation is for a dual-action or DA sander to be used with 80 grit in preparation for Rage Ultra. Any bare metal exposed at this point will still have some factory corrosion protection. For small repairs, use 180 grit to prepare the area. If the clear coat is fractured, sand until the defect is removed. If the clear coat is sanded through during this step, continue to remove the base coat. After the initial sanding is completed, feather edge the perimeter of the repair with 180 grit on a dual-action or DA sander. This will prepare the area for the application of Rage Ultra to minimize the chance for pinholes and leave a consistent 180 feather edge above and below the perimeter of Rage Ultra after the repair has been sanded. Before applying Rage Ultra, large repairs should be sanded with 80 grit at the center of the repair area and feather edged with 180 grit. Smaller repairs should be sanded and feather edged with a consistent 180 grit. Remove any remaining dust with clean compressed air or an alcohol wipe. Prior to dispensing Rage Ultra, mix the product to ensure an even consistency and dispense the required amount onto a non-porous mixing surface. The use of cardboard is not recommended. Rage Ultra mixes at a 50-to-1 ratio or 2% by weight using a traditional cream hardener. A visual reference for mixing a 2-inch puddle at the proper ratio would be to dispense a bead of hardener from the center to the edge, or a 1-inch bead. A 4-inch puddle of Rage Ultra requires a bead of cream hardener from edge to edge across the center, while an 8-inch puddle requires one full 8-inch bead of hardener from edge to edge, plus an additional 4-inch bead as shown. Avoid under and over catalyzing. When initially applying Rage Ultra to the repair area, avoid applying too much material all at once. The recommended application method is to apply a thin coat to the repair with even firm pressure. This will wet the surface and minimize the risk of pinholes. Then build the area to the desired thickness. Because the area was feather-edged with 180 grit, we can use Rage Ultra over the entire repair with one application. This will eliminate the need to apply a second product and a second step in the repair process. Slightly overbuild the repair area and then taper the edges of Rage Ultra just slightly outside of the repair. This will make sanding the repair faster. The recommended final thickness should not exceed 1/4 inch or 6 millimeters after sanding. Allow 15 to 20 minutes for Rage Ultra to reach the appropriate dry to sand time. For larger repairs, use a DA sander with 80 to 180 grit to help break open the surface and rough sand the area to contour. Avoid sanding into the paint with anything coarser than 180 grit. This will reduce the potential for sand scratch swelling and ensure a consistent feather edge. For smaller repairs, begin the initial sanding with 180 grit. After the repair is sanded to shape, use the DA sander with 180 grit and use light pressure to remove any straight line scratches that may be in the repair from hand sanding. Remove the dust from the repair area with clean compressed air or an alcohol wipe. If straight line scratches are noticed in the repair or in the surrounding clear coat, re-sand the repair with 180 grit on a DA sander and remove the dust. After the dust is removed, take a moment and inspect the repair for pinholes. If any pinholes are seen, apply a thin coat of Rage Ultra to the affected area with even firm pressure and allow 15 to 20 minutes for the recoated area to reach the proper dry to sand time. Then lightly sand with 180 grit by hand or with a DA sander. If the area was hand sanded, be sure to follow up with a DA sander to avoid leaving any straight line scratches. After sanding the area, use clean compressed air to remove any remaining dust and re-inspect to make sure the area is ready to prime. Apply primer surfacer according to your manufacturer's recommendations. For more information on Rage Ultra or other Evercoat products, contact your local Evercoat distributor or go to evercoat.com for more information.